Um, Let me just start my screen. I'm going to start to share my screen now. Okay, share my screen. Screen sharing has stopped. What's going on? Sorry, I'm just trying to see what is going on. Okay, I think I just need to share my entire screen. Just a moment. Maybe we can pause the recording. Let me just get this sorted. Okay.
Recording.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have this data set here. It's an e-commerce data, and I think the source was from Amazon. So I'm just going to call it Amazon e-commerce data. And what we want to do is we want to build a just one page Power BI reports so that we could see how things are going in terms of total number of orders, average delivery time. We look at all those key metrics. So there is no any requirement or anything that to follow for this particular data set. So I'm just going to assume we are going to assume some of the things based on the discussion in class. Um, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. So we are going to do it together anyway. So let me just have a look at the data. It appears the data is cleaned. We could see the order date, the order ID. It's confirmed. You are seeing my screen. I'm not sure if you are seeing my
We
screen.
can, we can.
Okay, okay. Right. Thank you for that. Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are going to do it together based on how we get the direction or how we get how do I put the motivation, what we think we should put in there. It's an open report that we need to build anyway. So we have the order day, the order ID, delivery. So all these are, we could spend a couple of time, even hours, looking at this data set. But we'll just quickly let's delve into the Power BI and get our hands dirty. So again, we all know Power BI Canvas. Let me just bring that into here right here. Okay. So I'm very sure we're all familiar with this page here. This is the Power BI Canvas, and this is where we do some of the reporting, we build the report. So this is just like a empty canvas. So what we want to do now is to navigate to where we have our data set. So we have our data set. It's an Excel file. So I'm just going to navigate to where I have it. So I have it stored somewhere here, which is this e-commerce data. I'm going to load it because yeah, it's an Excel file, and extension I have here is an Excel. Sometimes if you are working with CSV and when you want to load your data, you come here, you click on Excel, and you will see that, oh, your data is actually CSV. But some of the time, you don't need to go back. This is some of the hint I just discover. That instead of going back and pick CSV, I can just change to this all files. So even if it's CSV, even if it's a PDF file, everything I can load it directly without going back and pick that particular set of data. So again, is this e-commerce data? I'm just gonna go ahead and open it. Oh, okay. We need to close the Excel. So let's just go ahead and close the Excel first. Okay. So let's try again since we've closed the Excel. Yep. Okay. Right. So this is the data we're trying to load in the data. So it appears the data is already in a table format. We can see, but most of the time I discourage people using this, the table because anything might happen. Maybe we all know that when the data is in a table, there is this anchor, that encapsulate, let me use that word, the old data. So if mistakenly you had a new data and you didn't drag that thing down, or maybe you mistakenly drag it up, it doesn't capture the data. So that means Power BI will not get your data. So in that case, I'm just going to use the sheet, let me use the sheet directly, which has everything I want, even if there is any column, any rows I want to remove. Of course, it's an automated process. I can always remove that. So again, yeah, I'm not gonna be tempted to load the data first, even though we've looked at the peak of the data, just viewing it, and we see that it's clean, it's a clean data. So let's just go to the transform data and see what we can, some transformation we can do about the data. I think I need to drag this to my other screen. Yeah, just bear with me. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So again, looking at some of the tools here, which I have activated here, just to look at the column quality, I can see everything is 100%. I can see, there's no non-value, just like we look at it in the Excel format as well. Everything seems to be good. Though there could be some blank, and there could be some blank here, which we can see here. You can see my data quality, column quality has given me, oh, I have 75% of empty here. Which are these? This is just a reason why an order is returned. So if I look at this reason will only be here if the order was returned. You can see here, this was returned, and what was the reason? So we could do some analysis and, say, okay, why was this returned? And we can have everything here, just like we had here. So again, let's have a look at the data. We have the order dates, so some of the things maybe, in my own head that, oh, let me look at the timeline, the KPI, how this particular um what this organization or this store in on Amazon e-commerce, how they are doing in terms of delivery. Are they actually, meeting their KPI? Maybe the average of 5 days they need to deliver an order, depending on what delivery, what is it called? Type is chose here. It could be an express, it could be standard delivery. Maybe, when we look at the data, we are seeing express delivery taking 10 days, 8 days, and we're like, oh, and you see the normal standard delivery, maybe average of 5 days. So we could we could just prompt, say what's going on? Why are we having this even though the order is on express delivery, or what's the issue? What are we doing? So in this case, I'm just going to do something here. I have my order date here and I have my delivery date. So um, and can we say, okay, we agree that let's get the timeline, because I don't want this to be only me anyway. So I wanted to say, okay, this is what we agree that we want to do. So do we agree that, let's say, maybe let's get the difference date between these two, the delivery date and the order date, to see, oh, how long is this taking? So is that something we should do? Anyway.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yeah, so for me to do that, I can come here, add the column, I say, okay, subtract this from this, but there is a short way I want to do that. I'm going to click on this delivery date first. I click my order date here, and I go to the transform here. Say, oh, what do you want to do? I can see, oh, I want dates, date of the week. Let me see. Okay, I think it's going to be under add column because I'm adding column. Um, the word this transform and add column. So if I want to keep that particular column, I want it to maintain. That's where I'm going to use some of the functions in this transform. But if I'm adding extra column, you know, from maybe from these two columns that I've selected, so that means I need to go into the column tab here, ribbon here. That's where I can do that. So now I'm here now. So what do I want to do? I want to actually do something. And Power BI, Power Query rather has some of those functions. We just click and drop. And I want to believe it's one of the most easiest, when it comes to building visualization and transforming data, especially Power Query, because it's intuitive. It's going to say, okay, I want to do this, just like we have in the Power BI, get data, what this is what to do. So here now, I want to perform something. I want to subtract this. I can just click this here and say, you know what? All based on these two columns that I've selected, just keep subtract and give me the days there, and I have a subtraction. So I'm going to reorder. I'm going to this, just right click and say I want to move this, move to the beginning so that I can see what's going on here. This is the other date, and I just drag I drag this one here, and maybe this is my order ID. I take it back here so that we could see, oh, this is my order date. Oh, sorry. This is my order date. This is my delivery date. I can see, oh, this is what's happening. So again, let's rename this into something better. We could say delivery timeline. Yeah, time like that's it. So we could say, oh, this is our delivery timeline. And one thing, all those things that I'm doing here, in Power Query, we don't have Control Z, undo, redo, but there's something which is more, advanced than Control Z here, undo, redo. And this is where we have here apply steps. So all those things that I'm doing, right from taking my data here, right from navigating. So all these three are some um automatic apply cell by Power Query. Initially when the data comes, it's showing it as, oh, column one, column two. Excuse me. So, but based on intelligence that Power Query has, that's already applied some steps for me, which is, navigating and promoting headers, and I can see, oh, I have my order ID, everything here. So these are other steps that, we've done here, Saturday subtraction. So maybe, um, you know, you want to probably submit this, your report, or you want to submit it for maybe um vetting or something. I can come here and say, instead of insert date here, I can rename this and say, what did I do here? Um, I let's say calculate calculate sorry, I calculate not calculate time, calculate day different from delivery from order date to delivery. No. So anybody that give this now, they will say, oh, he can read my work. Oh, this is what this guy is trying to do. He's trying to calculate something here. Because sometimes, yeah, best practice anyway, rename your steps so that appropriately people can read it. If maybe we are submitting it, or we are sending it to an external person that's going to read it anyway. So we have this rename, everything. We have our delivery timeline, customer ID, customer age. But there is something here. This customer gender, we could see M and F. So me, I think this is not really, maybe we can agree here on the code and say, instead of representing it as M and F, we all know it could mean something else, you know. It could mean it could mean Fumi. We never can tell. It could mean Mayowa, So but we all know that this is male and female. So I'm going to say, let's agree that let's change this to a male, male and female, so that even anyone can read this without using this short abbreviation. So for us to do that, um, we can use the replace function, yeah, rather than having to add new column here. Say, okay, if this is M, give it as male. If this is F, give it as female. we can do, just do that. So here, what we are going to do is we are going to just use the replace function, here. So, and how can I do that? Of course, I can just right click on this here, say replace value. This is the value, I want to replace. And automatically, it's going to pop up that box here, the value to find M. And of course, there is another way here, excuse me, just right clicking on this on the column. And even I think on the when you go to the transform here, we should also find it. Yeah, and don't forget when I mentioned the other time that if you are keeping that particular column, you go to the transform. Anything you want to do on this column, you want this column to remain, still in this table, this query. You go to the transform, and what do I want to do? I want to replace value, and that same box is going to pop up. So what value am I finding? I'm looking for M, and I want it to replace as male. So again, I just hit my OK, and that's it. That's what's going to happen. So the short way, quickest and fastest way, I just right click on this and say replace value, and automatically I have my F there, and I can have this is female. Right. Are we still together? Are we still together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So again, we look at the location, the zone. These are some of the data, we might skip some of those things, but maybe one thing we should do, so as to create a relationship. If you recall during the onboarding, we normalize the data by saying, oh, we have some text variable, which has to do with like customer journal, the location, the zone, delivery type. We can bring this data into a separate table and create a model. Like say, okay, this should be one to many, like a star schema. So I can see, when looking at this data, I can foresee that, oh, this can come as a star schema. So, but before we come to that, let's look at the unit price. We have the unit price, we have the shipping fee, order quantity, sales price. So, but in my own mathematical knowledge, I know that unit price multiplied by order quantity is supposed to give me my sales amount. Yeah, it's supposed to give me my sales amount, even including um maybe we could say, okay, because there is shipping fee here, we could have, okay, unit price multiplied by order quantity plus the shipping fee will give us, the total money that was paid by that customer, and which is what we can calculate and say, okay, this is the overall. But let's look at this. Mere looking at this sales price, if I multiply this by this, of course, this is not going to give me 196. So I don't know what is going on with this data. Does anyone have any? Because when looking at this, it's not jiving to me. When I just look at, oh, this is 147 here as the unit price of this particular product, and I'm having the quantity of two. If I multiply this by two, it's not going to give me 196. And same thing as this one as well. It's not going to give me 183. So what do we think? Should we go along with whatever we have here, or we should just ignore this their sales price and say could be a system error or it could be a human error anyway, as entering the value, we never can tell. So what do we think we should do in this case now? I'm throwing it open.
Yeah. Can I try? Can I just bring up something?
Of
Yeah.
course.
What I'm thinking is maybe we can expunge the sale price we have on the data, then we can calculate ours. That is my own opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Any other contrary or seconded opinion?
Did we check if maybe they added the shipping fee to it, and that's why it's giving that amount. I don't know. I've not done it. I'm just
Yeah, this is
checking.
147 plus 10. This should be 157, and we're having 196. Um, this one is 134. We're having 183. Okay, let's just calculate, let's multiply this unit price with the other quantity and add our shipping fee, compare it to whatever we have here. If it doesn't give us this, or if which I know that the margin is going to be high, so we'll just based on one of the one I mentioned, Mr. Akindele has said, so we can just forget about this and put it in our notes when we are submitting this. Oh, our time is really, really fast spent. Okay. So again, I mentioned that I'm adding a new column now. So am I going to go to the home, go to transform, add column view, or where am I going to pick to make sure that because I am transforming, I am adding a column. So am I going to transform or add column?
Add column.
Add column. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you, sir. So again, we could create these
Sorry.
two value
Sorry,
units.
I'll try to unmute myself since I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I had issues with my phone, with my laptop. Yeah, so I think for you to get your total cost, so I think that unit price and the quantity will give you total cost. Then I think the sales price is your selling cost, your selling price. So I think maybe we'll need to then have in our notes the unit price because it's supposed to be unit cost, not price. So we need to say, okay, that we are assuming that our unit price is our unit cost. So that could also fit into us getting the total cost using the unit price and quantity. Then for us to get our sales, we can use the sales price and the quantity to get our sales. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we cannot just delete this or not to use this sales price in there, because we cannot, because we don't know, what has really happened. But I think within me, it's that's that unit price is it's supposed to be unit cost, right? Then that sales price is still okay. That is your selling price. So that's no issue at all. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, we have 1-1 now. So let's see if we have other opinion. So whoever, once we start now. So let's try and get more opinions, please. Yeah. I think I reason with you as well, Mr. Ferdinand. I say, okay, probably this is the unit cost. Like, okay, this is the cost of this particular product. But how we can know? Let's go and look at same product, whether it's going to be the same value. With that, then I'm going to agree with you 100%. Okay, so let's look at this. Let me see. Do I have a product? Okay, I have this particular. Um, Let me see if I can have this same product here. Let me okay. I'm just going to pick one. Okay, I disagree with you completely. I totally disagree. So I nullify your argument. Yeah, totally. Do you have any comment, anyone other comment to that?
So if you look at the products properly,
Yeah.
right? So you have subcategory to that
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
So we also have
Product
the
category.
product category itself.
Yeah.
Now, so that price relates to that product category.
But
Okay.
I filter this one single entity, which
I
is
know.
this blood pressure monitor, this same subcategory, the same product category, even if I say in terms of delivery time, their cost must not be different. It's still the same. If this has to be the unit cost, then everything here for this particular product, because now I'm using the product, I'm not using subcategory, I'm not using product category, I'm using the name of the product. Okay, let's look at one more again.
Where's the inflation there? Where's the
Let's
inflation?
look at one more again.
Sorry,
Is
please.
the sales price
Oh,
the
sorry.
same?
Sorry, please. could it be that products from the same zone are sold at the same price?
Mm-hmm. That's another thing if you look at too. So you look
But
at that zone, then again, look at the zone, look
um,
at the inflation,
um,
right? Then look at the year.
so,
So let's see the year, you know.
okay, I'm
I
going
think we
to
should consider the zone
check
cost.
this my column distribution now.
Mm,
Let's see. If you look at here, 101 distinct.
mm.
So I am still 100%
It's
sure.
unique, yeah.
Yeah, I am still 100% that this is not. You can see some of those things, I'm just using click and to actually, answer your argument. When you said
Mm,
unit price, the first thing I did, I filtered this as okay, maybe inflation or maybe zone. But if I look at this my column distribution, are distinct, no. So which I think yeah, I don't know if Sister Debbie has something to say. Unfortunately, time is up.
I was gonna say yes. Unfortunately, our time is fast spent. So is it possible that we return to it tomorrow at all?
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
because I'm
Okay.
yeah,
very much interested in that.
Yes.
yeah.
And if we can have the data set and see,
Yeah, yeah,
have a look at it before class so that class will be
yeah,
quick.
yeah. That'll be
Okay,
fine.
okay. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Then you can share. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'll hand over to
So
my
before you
honorable
go, please,
HOD. Yeah.
before you go, please go back to your the I think the ID.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes. So the other ID, it's in format of numbers, right? So
Yeah.
in that aspect, that is going to give us a summation of that particular other ID. So why can't you make it a test?
Well, that's okay, but normally, even if it's other ID,
Because it's going
can
to do
get
like a summation for us when we're trying to create a relationship.
okay, but it doesn't matter anyway. Like if I want to get the total number of order ID, I can just use count, this thing count, and I
Yeah,
get this. But
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna change it into a text. Right. Okay, that's okay. Okay, thank you everyone. I hand over to HOD. All right. Mr. Debbie, over to you. You are the HOD, ma.
Have